people, how are you all doing? Sammy, United People's TV. It's Thursday. We're only a couple of days away from football. Man United against Everton, Goodison Park, 4:30 on Sunday. And yeah, it's been a long old international break, isn't it? Especially with the takeover and the non-takeover and the delays. But the good thing is, right, we can go a whole show here today without really speaking about it. I'm going to mention sort of sporting directors going to speak about Dougie Freedman, Paul Mitchell after an interesting concept emerged yesterday, which I'll run through a little bit. But we don't have to speak about takeover. You want an update? Bro, here is your update. There isn't an update. Today's Thanksgiving in USA. Nothing's going to be announced today. Nothing was announced yesterday. Tomorrow's a half day on the New York Stock Exchange. So probably there's not going to be an announcement until the very earliest Monday. Lovely. Well, it's quite the opposite of lovely, really. Completely the opposite of lovely. But there's no need to sort of get bogged down in the conversations. We are going to focus purely on the football for the first 20 minutes, half an hour. Lots of positive injury news and updates around Shaw, Martinez, Onana. We'll speak about Hojlund. We'll speak about Eriksen. All in the build up to the game of the weekend. We'll also speak about what we got. As I said, an interesting conversation around sporting directors and a conversation I want to have around Casemiro and his future, his long-term future at Manchester United. And we'll speak about Amadou and Onana. We'll speak about Donny van der Beek. Yep, Donny van der Beek still exists. I know. Plenty of things. And there's, as always, throughout the entire show, you let me know what you think. This is my way of bringing you completely up to date with all the latest United news, all right? Who's here from the member gang? Let's have a look. Devils, good morning to you. Joe Warren, Robert Taylor, Natasha, and Teresa. I can see you there. Sam Wise. What a great name. I am Wise. So are you. Gaminda, winning 11, Mikapa. We've got Basil. We've got John, Brian, Michael, Kenny, and Monkton. And Josh, you're there. I can see you. Saeed, Carl, and Ross. Good morning to all of you. Who's on Facebook? Let's have a quick look. See if we can get some new names down here. Philip, Bra. Philip, you're there. Siraj, good morning to you. Got Nick Wood. We've got Matt Frost. How you doing, man? Mikael Jansen. Clive, you're having a day off work, so you're tuning in. What a way to kick off your morning. Good morning to the whole gang. How you doing? I'm looking forward to footy. I really am looking forward to footy. I love United People's TV. But even I get bored of even I have a sort of a saturation point when it comes to just not being able to talk about new things and sort of recycle conversations. I try my hardest. Yesterday I spoke about Kefren Turam and Jean-Claire Todibo because I thought that was a really interesting conversation. This idea that maybe there'll be transfers that could happen in January, some loans between United and Nice. I don't think Nice fans would want it in any way, shape, or form. I know they wouldn't want it. But it would certainly benefit United. And that's the difficulties that Jim Ratcliffe is going to have as an owner of more than one club. Well, not complete owner of Manchester United, but an investor in Manchester United and an owner of Nice. If you want to go and check it out, it's on the channel. But let's focus on probably the most positive single bit of news I think we've had out of the club in, I don't really know, like sod knows how long, really. But Luke Shaw was back in full training. We knew that. Did we know that yesterday morning? I think we may have done it yesterday morning, but there was videos and pictures coming out. And I tell you what, right, considering Luke Shaw hasn't played since, was it August? I think it's August. It's been out for a long time. I think it was a serious thigh muscle injury. Shaw is somebody, for some reason, I don't know why, but people have always criticized Shaw's weight compared to a lot of other players. It's a bit weird. I've always looked at Luke Shaw in the same sort of way that I've looked at Wayne Rooney. And when Wayne Rooney came back from pre-season, he looked like he enjoyed his time off, and then it took him a few weeks to get back to fitness. But Luke Shaw, clearly, if you watch the training videos, you look at the pictures, dude's been staying in shape, man. Looks fit. Looks ready to come straight back in. Fingers crossed he is completely. And we're all, there's going to be people that fairly say, don't rush players back. And I don't want anybody to be rushed back. But Shaw looks ready. Shaw's training with the first team. And no doubt we won't know this information. Right? This will be down to Man United's medical staff, Erik Ten Hag, and Luke Shaw himself. Because players have got a responsibility to themselves. Again, I don't know why I'm using Rooney as the comparison so much. But Rooney was one of those players where even if he wasn't 100% fit, he would tell you he's 100% fit. And you would have to, as Fergie and the coaching staff would have to make a decision. Is he really fit? Or should we, not risk him? A lot of times Rooney played when he wasn't 100% fit. I wouldn't be surprised to see Luke Shaw. In fact, I'd almost be surprised to not see him in the starting 11. Josh, I think you mentioned this yesterday, and it's kind of stuck in my head about, there's a lot less movement required at left back than there is at left centre back. But also, it's really hard to decipher which of those two positions, because I did this yesterday with you. I said it's really hard to decipher which injury has hurt United more this season, Martinez or Shaw, because both have had such a significant impact. But I think Ten Hag would be more keen to get Luke Shaw back as a left centre-back, let him sort of reintroduce himself slowly. Maybe looking at that, Luke Shaw returning to the team in November and playing at left centre-back from now until January time, February time, when Martinez comes back. And then Martinez comes into a left centre-back and Luke Shaw goes back to his natural position. And then from probably, I would hope, mid-January to late January, we can reasonably hope and expect the Man United back five will be Onana, Shaw, Martinez, Varane, and Wan-Bissaka. Speaking of a certain Martinez, I had a big old smile on my face when I saw this yesterday as well. We have had. I hope this season can be cut up. At the end of the season, I hope this season at Manchester United can be cut up into like 3 distinct sections, right? We've had the first section, and it was like an off piece of meat. Man United at the start of this season. Just didn't look right, didn't smell right. Nah, it wasn't right. That's what Manchester United between August and November has been. Now we've got November to February. That's part 2 of the season. And part 3 of the season is always the running. February or March to the end of the season, where things all go different. This second part of the season, I'm really looking forward to hopefully it being better. Right, we've got Luke Shaw back. That's a really good start. Now Martinez, he's not back. He's not back in full training, but Martinez is back at Carrington. Martinez he's there. He's in his. Well, he's not in training kit. He's on an individual training program at Carrington, so he's stepping up his recovery. Now the expectation for Lisandro Martinez is that he won't be back until January, until after Christmas. Same with Casemiro, right? And I know that United will, of course they will. They're going to have to err on the side of caution with Martinez because it's the same injury he suffered last season that they brought him back too early from, and the problem repeated itself. Dean is saying, Sam, is Kobe back? Kobe Mainu, as far as we know. I'll run through some training photos in a bit. Maybe there is a little snap of Kobe Mainu in there. I haven't actually looked. But Kobe Mainu played with the under-19s, the England under-19s, completely fine during the international break. And as far as we know, yes, he is. And Christian Eriksen, as it stands, I'll speak about Eriksen and Hojlund in a bit. But having Shaw back, yeah, man. That's as good a bit of injury news that we can hope for. Now, and this is not me tempting fate. This is just the way it's worked this season. And I hope the pattern now breaks itself. Because I think, who was it? Who was it that came back from injury? And it was a positive thing. And it was a game where Casemiro got injured. Happened a few weeks ago. I don't know who it was. Sod knows. I have no idea. Anyway, I jokingly said before the game, I said, look, well, because X player is back now, well, the injury gods are going to have to balance this out somehow because that's positive injury news for United. And then Casemiro got injured. Oh, well, actually, no, it was it Kobe Mainu? I think it was Kobe Mainu. That was it. It was Kobe Mainu coming back. Thank you very much in the comments. That's why I like the comments. Mark, appreciate that. Commie Man who came back and I said, well, the football gods are going to balance this one out. And then Casemiro's out until the new year. And I'm like, I hope this is the time where the injury gods don't balance it out. Because, man, if you're going to balance it out, man, at least let us have some players back. We have been starved of our first team this season. And Erik Ten Hag and his football has really suffered because of it. I was thinking about this pre-live, right? So Shaw and Martinez have basically missed the whole season, right? The majority of the season so far. If you rewound to preseason and you were to choose another player who got injured for, like, say, got the same sort of level of injury that Shaw did, is there anybody else that you think could have had as big an impact on our team than Shaw and Martinez? I was trying to think about it. Like, I honestly think if you had to cherry pick the worst injuries that Ten Hag could have asked for, I think it probably would have been Shaw and Martinez. I was thinking if we had got the news that Casemiro was out for like 3-4 months, we probably would have. That would have been really bad news. I think we would have coped with it overall better than we have done with the absence of Shaw and Martinez. Bruno, for sure. But then at the same time, if we're being hands up here and completely honest, that's Mason Mount's best position. And Mason Mount hasn't been able to play in his best position, but then Mason Mount got injured as well. So who knows about that? But I imagine we would have been able to cope a little bit better with Bruno's absence because we have Mason Mount. But these two dudes, just as it stands with the way that our current squad is, right? With the way our current squad is, Luke Shaw and Martinez, as it stands, are completely irreplaceable in this starting 11, right? Completely irreplaceable. Apart from by each other if Martinez is out and Shaw comes in. And this is why we need another couple of transfer windows to build that quality. If Varane had got that injury at the start of the season, it would have been bad. But Maguire, as we've seen, would probably have improved and stepped up. And I can't wait to see Martinez back. And it's good to have him back, right? It really, really is good to have Shaw back. And I'll tell you some other positive injury news we've got is around Onana. This is from Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail this morning. This is what he's saying on Onana. There's been more good news for Erik Ten Hag, with Andre Onana able to train for the last 2 days despite picking up a groin injury on international duty with Cameroon. He was hurt in World Cup qualifying, but he is now fully recovered and expected to be in goal for United at Goodison Park. So some real positive injury news around Luke Shaw coming back, and some real positive injury news in that Onana is going to be fit. Now, Bayindir may have been great, or Bayindir might be great. We just don't know yet. As it stands, we just don't know about Bayindir. I mean, he was brought in as a backup for a particular reason. First of all, he was cheap. Let's be completely honest, right? Bayindir, I may well have been a more than capable alternative, but Onana is. I know, I don't know, but my personal opinion is that Onana will really come through and be an absolute elite level goalkeeper for us. I hope after one more transfer window, after getting rid of a couple of players that we need to get rid of, and after signing, making sure that we have an alternative to Martinez, making sure that we have an alternative to Luke Shaw. Oh no, technically you kind of got it. Well, Reguilón's going to leave. I'm not sure about Manassia's future now. Oh, man, we've got so many more things to do in these transfer windows. But I'm happy that Onana's fit. I really, really am. Let me see what you're saying down here. Why do we keep buying players that we do not use, says Abiyomi. I'm guessing you're talking about Mason Mount there. Mason Mount, remember, was injured for 5 weeks. So that's kind of a half a reason we didn't use Mason Mount. But then at the same time, yeah, I think I said it. I'm trying to rewind my mind back to the summer. I understood why Ten Hag was going so aggressively after Mason Mount, because I saw this. I saw what he was trying to do. I saw he was trying to switch United to one number 6 and 2 really aggressive number 8s, and Mount and Bruno together. It made sense when you tactically looked at it from that point of view. But when that didn't work, and when he didn't have Shaw and he didn't have Martinez, and then United kind of started playing a slightly different style of football, because Ten Hag, I felt I hands in the air, I definitely got this wrong when it comes to Ten Hag and his tactics. I thought he was somebody who was really true to a particular style, but he's not. He's somebody who will adapt according to the players that he has available. Hence why Man United have kind of played a different style of football completely without Shaw and Martinez. And when they come back in, we will play far more of the style that we saw so much of saw some of last season, and we wanted to see much more of this season. Let me see what you're saying in the comments. Where is Van der Beek? I'll speak about him a little bit later on. Reguilon or Malacia? I imagine Reguilon. Although I don't actually know. Is he fit? I've got no idea if any Man United player is fit. What are you saying down here? Ross, you're saying Binder is extremely averaged. Average based on his time in Turkey. Kidoki? Is he? Thought he's pretty decent goalkeeper. Thought he played all right when he was it Turkey against Wales? What are you saying down here? What is everyone saying about? I've seen quite a lot of this. I've got to pull this up just because you're not the only person who's mentioned this. This idea, where did this come from? Have I got to type this into Google just to like dispel these weird reports coming out? People trying to suggest that Man United are going to get banned from the Champions League. Right, come on in. What's this saying? Let me read this. What is this about? This just seems weird. I have no idea where this is coming from. Let me try and read it. Nice are presently 1 point behind PSG. United would need to at least tie them in the Premier League standings in order to be eligible for the redesigned Champions League. If they would not be eligible to play in the Euro, if they finish, what is this on about? I'm pretty sure. Well, it depends on it depends on the coefficient rankings as to whether 4 English teams go in for the Champions League next year or 5. I've got to read about this a bit more properly. What is this? What is it? Where is it saying here? Did it need to finish or equal better than Nice? Because what? Because both clubs are owned by. It's from the Sun. Well, sorry I wasted a minute of your time there, ladies and gents. My bad. Thank you, Martin Lipton. It's always good fun. Under UEFA's United, the only way United can both play in is one series. Ladies and gents, if you want to get your news from the Sun, then you're not going to have much fun in life, are you? All right. Yeah, you go and read that. I apologize. I just wasted 2 minutes of your time reading through that, but there was enough people commenting. I thought it might have been something serious, but hey, it is what it is. I will go and have a read about that after, but I'm pretty sure I can. It's good. Sophie's outlet. Honestly, that if you run out of toilet paper, you still wouldn't use the Sun. Right? That's how bad it is. But as much as let's go back to actual real tangible news. Okay. So Onana, he's going to be fit to play. Luke Shaw might be fit to start. We don't know that yet. And Martinez is back training at Carrington on his own individual training program, but he's stepping up his recovery. That's really good news. The slightly negative news is Hojlund is expected to be missing for this game. I'm actually going to put this as a poll today. I think everyone loves a good poll. Let's go there. Oh, what? As if Goldbridge has led with that European ban as a headline for a show. people. This is why hysteria exists. This is why it exists. All right. Deary me. Right. Let me go here and get a poll on here. Who do you think should start up front? Who should start at number 9? Let's try and not get a spelling mistake in this one. Despicable behaviour. If Hojlund's not fit, you can have Martial as an option. You can have Rashford. Now Rashford as an option. Who else could start up front? Fire it in the comments. Who else would you start? Who else could start up front for United? Don't say Jadon Sancho because that can't happen. Bruno false 9. I mean, technically that could happen. That happened like once last season, didn't it? Rashford could obviously start up there. Martial could start up there. Who else? McTominay. I'm putting all jokes aside, I'm actually going to put McTominay down as an option. Seriously, no. I'm actually putting McTominay there as an option. Right, I'm going to put those as the 3 options. Okay. So we've got, who's that? We've got Martial, you've got Rashford, you've got McTominay. I'll come back to that poll in a few, let's call it 5-10 minutes time. Who do you think should start up there? Probably Martial, probably, as if he's fit, which is the permanent question around Martial. Rashford, I always would prefer to see off the left, but well, he's just not been scoring anywhere really all season. Right, let's move on to the next talking point. And it's right from the multi-club ownership rules, says Jarl. And do you want to know a fun fact about the ownership of Manchester United? Jim Ratcliffe is going to be a minority owner of Manchester United. He's going to be an investor. So as far as club ownership rules go, it might not even equivalate because he won't be a majority owner of more than one club. It depends on how their rules are even defined. Good old football clubs trying to get round rules. But I'll see what you're saying down there about who you think should start up front, and I'll move on to some training photos here. These are from training yesterday. Mason Mount there. Wonder if he'll start. He probably won't start. It's hardly started for us at all this season. Luke Shaw, my man. Honestly, it's really impressive how in shape he looks, I think, considering he's been out for 3 months. He's obviously been staying disciplined. Good lad. Sam Murray there with Hannibal in the background. There's Anthony. Be nice if he came up with a goal at some point. Garnacho, who I still don't personally think is impacting games from starting positions in the same way he is from the bench. Varane, we don't know whether he's going to be starting or not because of Harry Maguire's form. There's Wan-Bissaka, Anthony lurking in the background. Some of the youth players there. Cambuela, I hope he comes through, man. He's a really good centre-back. Reguilon there training, so hopefully Reguilon's fit. We don't know whether he's going to be. There's Donny van der Ghost. And there's a nice little bit of motion blur. Yeah, some photos there. None of Kobe Manu as far as I can see. Right. Tony, you're saying McTominay played forward in the academy. McTominay's already came out and said, I don't know where that came from. He literally played up front like twice. For like the under 18s or under 21s like 2 times. He goes, I was never a centre forward. It's just that we had an injury crisis, so I played there a couple of times. Garnacho, the false 9. No, I do not like that at all. Garnacho on the left wing. That is his position. At this moment in time, he just doesn't have that. He doesn't have anywhere near the same effectiveness anywhere else. But look, let me see what you're saying in the poll. Let's go back to this, and then we'll go on to the conversation. We'll speak about Ten Hag now. All right. But I said, look, if Hojlund's... Expect Hojlund to be missing against Everton. All right. Expect Hojlund to be missing for Galatasaray as well. Mr. Champions League in terms of goals, and we may well have to cope without him, and that's not going to be a good thing. But if I'm looking across the course of this season, but I know if I had to, I don't know, a bit of a weird thing to say really, but if there's these 3 games coming up here, Everton, Galatasaray and Newcastle, if I had to just dust off one of those games and only have a focus on 2, I would dust off Galatasaray. I would dust off the Champions League. I know the Champions League is glorious. It's so good to be in it. It means a lot. But we're not ready for it yet. And that's just the truth, right? We're not quite ready for it yet. As great as it is to be involved in it, it would not be the end of our season if we went out of it. And that's just my honest opinion on it. I would love us to stay in it, and I want us to beat Galatasaray. But if I'm going to say two games this week, which are really important, I'm saying it's Everton and it is Newcastle. It's absolutely the league. It's absolutely the league. And I wouldn't rush Hojlund back. That's my point here. There's no way in hell that I would rush Hojlund back to play Galatasaray just in case he might score on with the added risk that he might. But if you've got a muscle injury and you tweak it and then you play again, you won't tweak it, you'll tear it. And you'll be out for months. All right. Hojlund's injury was hamstring, Edward. He sort of like held the back of his hamstring, didn't he? He sat down. So it's a muscular injury. You just can't risk it. Like Luke Shaw's was a muscular injury. He was out for 3 months. That's what I'm saying, like a proper tear. But anyway, let's speak about what Ten Hag had to say ahead of the game, okay? We'll run through this, and then after this, I want to speak about sporting director Dougie Friedman, Paul Mitchell, and the idea we might get more than one, which is a bit of an interesting one. And then I want to speak about Casemiro's future, which I think definitely warrants a conversation here. But first, let's go back to the poll because I forgot about it. We've got 300 votes here in the first 4 minutes. Big up, everyone. That's quite a split, but 40% of you think Martial should start up front. 33% of you think Rashford, and 27% of you think McTominay. I think 40% of you are right. I think you will probably see Martial start up front. Was it Everton last season where he played? I think it was. Everton last season was where didn't he score? I swear Martial scored at Everton last season. Am I making that up? Everton, Man United, 22-23 season. But I got an assist. I knew he did something. He did something. He got an assist for Anton. That was the game that he scored. Right. He didn't score. He got an assist. I knew he played there. I knew he did something well. Anyway, Martial. You know what I think about Martial, man. Jeez. Anyway, let's talk about Ten Hag. Let's talk about what he's had to say ahead of the game at the weekend. And I think there's an interview going out with beIN Sports today. This is what Ten Hag said. Because look, we're 1/3 through the season. It was a tough start, but I think we're catching up. And from the last 5 games, we've won 4, so we're in a good mood. I think we're heading in the right direction. Now, I did my sort of. I think I did a video during the international break, a little short video, and I was like, well, Ten Hag kind of deserves an apology, man, because the media are so quick to stamp on his head and just completely obliterate him. But they always say, it's a sign of champions when you're winning, when you're not playing well. It's not really the sign of champions here for Manchester United. But the fact that we managed to navigate that period with 4 wins in our last 5, despite playing woeful football consistently, was like semi-impressive. In terms of the results, yeah, we're heading in the right direction. But boy, oh boy, does the football need to come back. And the football heavily relies on the right players coming back. That's what's missing for United. The quality isn't there. And you might say it's an excuse. It's just a reality. The drop-off between United's first-team players still, and quite a few of those positions in terms of backups, you simply can't play the same style of football. You might not like that. You might say that's an excuse. You might say, Postecoglou's not doing that. But Klopp's not doing that. I do not give a toss about what other managers are doing, about what's happening at other clubs. It bears no relevance to me because it has no relevance to what's going on at Manchester United. It's like comparing apples and oranges. What's the point? Ten Hag clearly has a bit of an over-reliance on certain individuals at this moment in time with this current squad we have. And that's really hurt us so far this season. But let's hope that it can improve. He's saying, look, before we go into the intense part of December, and mate, football's it's gonna come fast. I think we're building confidence, we're building routines. Now, this bit here, Ten Hag said about, look, he's hoping that we can more or less stay with the same lineup or with 12 to 14 players. He wants to have that sort of same team, similar sort of team. And what I would say is, Ten Hag, that is unlikely. First of all, well, we're going to get injuries. We're going to get more injuries. It's how Man United work and have worked all season. Second of all, we've got a game. Look, right? Last season, we didn't have the festive fixture pile-up, as it's called. Well, I've just called it. So, well, it is now. But we didn't have that to moan about because it was a World Cup. Look at this pick. Look at what we're about to go into here, right? Ten Hag's talking about having this sort of the same team with like 11 or 12 or 13 players. That's just not feasible. Not with this schedule. Man United playing Everton on Sunday away. 3 days later, we're in Turkey playing Galatasaray away. 3 days later, we're in Newcastle. 4 days later, we've got Chelsea. 3 days later, we've got Bournemouth. 3 days later, we've got Bayern Munich. 5 days later, we've got Liverpool at Anfield. 6 days later, we've got West Ham away. Boxing Day, Aston Villa. Nottingham Forest, it's 30th. And then we've got a break. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. 10 games of football between the 26th of November and the 30th of December. You've gone from like starving because there's no football because of the international break, and then just like football constantly. Football. So that was it, David Webb? I think it's David Webb. Anyway, yeah, good luck not rotating for that, Erik, because that is just unfeasible. All right? Unfeasible, I think. So it's going to be interesting to see how we rotate here, because Erik Ten Hag would love nothing more than to come in and play Luke Shaw for 90 minutes, 10 games in a row. It's just not going to happen, right? Then what we're saying down here in the comments. Everyone's like, I love the festive football. Like, everyone likes the festive football period, man. Missed Boxing Day football last year. We got, was it Villa at 8 o'clock, I think. Well, at least you can get drunk all day on Boxing Day. That's a good thing. And you want to know something cool? Oh, I think it's cool. It is cool, right? I've had a season ticket for sod knows how long now. 10 years. I managed for the first time, confirmation yesterday, I got a ticket for Anfield in the ballot. It's the first time I've ever got that. I think I've been able to apply. How many years? 7 or 8 years? I haven't got it once. I'm going to Anfield on the 17th of December, and I cannot wait. First time I've ever seen United play at Anfield. Not the best record recently, but I think I'm going to be a good luck charm. But yeah, that's going to be class. Can't wait for that. What is saying? Mark saying getting Shaw and Martinez back won't fix the problems, but there'll be a boost. Yeah, absolutely. No one should expect Manchester United to all of a sudden like click. Oh, look, we're back as soon as Shaw and Martinez come back in. But the patterns that we haven't seen enough of, you can start building and building and building, and hopefully those patterns can improve with those two players back. Right. Let's want to move on to a quick. Actually, no, I'll move on to this after because I want to talk about this man next. Right. Casemiro. Now, my lunchtime video today is going to be on Casemiro. Okay. Because I have long held an opinion on the transfer and the signing of Casemiro, which I suppose comes into a little bit more relevance after the stories that we're seeing yesterday. Now, this is coming out of Relevo, which is a Madrid-based paper, which is kind of interesting. Because if it's Madrid-based, it's either made up, first of all. Yeah, it could well be made up, right? Or secondly, it's probably come from the Casemiro side of things. Either way. But a suggestion here is this, right, is that Casemiro is beginning to consider his future. He's thinking about the possibility of moving to Saudi in the summer, partly due to the decline of United. And there's conversations now that over the last day or so that Casemiro might be considering. And I want to get your opinion on the long-term future of Casemiro. What happens, right? I want to get your questions in on this. I want to see if anyone sent a super chat. Let me quickly check that before I head back. I've got one here from Ali Doing Nicholas. Thank you very much, dude. What are you saying? Oh, look, kind of a good timing, really. You're saying, what players can we realistically offload this January transfer window? I spoke about it yesterday. I said, honestly, Sancho has to go. And famous last words, because hopefully he'll score this weekend. But I don't particularly think that Manchester United would miss Anthony Martial that much. I really don't. And I might even speak it into existence. Yeah, Martial is a waste of time. There's no point in United playing him. Wow, what a horrible player! Come on, score some goals. Make me look like an idiot. I'm happy to be the fall guy if Martial scores. I don't think. Donny van der Beek, will speak about him in a little bit. I suppose there's some sort of conversations around Casemiro leaving in January. Saudi Arabia, which I think is extremely unlikely. First of all, he's injured until January anyway. And second of all, I just don't see it happening. But I'm going to go down here and see what you're saying about Casemiro and his long-term future. Casemiro won't be fit for Ten Hag's style of play, says Nick. I mean, he was last season when we were playing more of a double pivot and he had someone there alongside him. But even then, we were playing Eriksen alongside Casemiro and you were having slow coach alongside slow coach and the energy wasn't there. Jeez, you remember City last year? I think it was City last year was particularly bad when it was Casemiro and Eriksen just getting run around. Daniel saying cash in while he's got something. Same with Eriksen and Harry Maguire. Shane, you're saying if we can get some good money for him, sell him. Casemiro wants to go to the Saudi league. His body language suggests that. I wouldn't say his body language suggests that. That's kind of looking for a narrative that you kind of want. I would say anyway. He hasn't got the legs for the transitional style of football. I don't particularly think so either. And you're saying Casemiro is a shadow of the player he was. Isn't even a bench option. And if he was fit, of course he would be in. They'd pretty much be in the starting 11. But look, my opinion on Casemiro is the signing of Casemiro sums up everything still that is wrong at this football club when it comes to long-term planning. All right. Casemiro was an incredible short-term signing. And we got to enjoy last season in isolation. Brilliant. Watching Casemiro coming in, the way he played, that League Cup final, that run up to the League Cup final, Casemiro being a central part of it. We were having conversations about whether who was the best defensive midfielder in the league last season. It was great for a season. And now, 12 months later, we find ourselves repeating conversations because this club does not do long-term planning. And that right there is why Casemiro was such a bad bit of business. It sums up Manchester United perfectly. Something changes, someone's sacked, someone comes in, you get a real nice upturn, you enjoy it for a few months, everything's rosy, everything's back. You have a little dip, you have a little fall, and you find yourself back down to kind of where you started before, and he goes, well, how's that happened? I'm going to do a longer video on this at lunchtime today because there's a lot more information that I want to put into this conversation. But what Manchester United have got to do with Casemiro, we at this football club have such a bad track record of holding on to players until there is no value for said player. We have to get used to selling players when not every fan wants that player to be sold. right? That's what I think. What was going on here? But boy, 1 second. Making sure I'm not missing any news over here. All right. But yeah, that Casemiro for me, this Casemiro conversation, we have to have a conversation around it, right? Casemiro came here to win. He hasn't won anything yet. Well, what do you mean? We won the League Cup last year. I know it's not the Champions League, the Premier League, but we were never going to win those in the first season or the first couple of seasons. It wasn't realistic. But yeah, this Casemiro, we need like a proper conversation around Casemiro. And when you can look on the opposite here, you're looking at someone like Amadou Onana, and you're seeing stories linking us to him again. You're looking at someone that from a completely different profile perspective, one that completely suits what Ten Hag kind of needs and looks for. Onana's kind of gone under the radar a little bit. He was linked with United in the summer, and then a lot of people like turn their nose up. Oh, what do you mean we're signing a player from Everton? No chance. Anyway, Onana, it's going to be interesting to see how this one develops. And I hope he's not fit to play the weekend, because I think he might have a calf strain. I think he got taken off for Belgium during the international break. So fingers crossed he's actually missing, because him in midfield, I don't really think we're going to have anyone who can compete with him. Dude is a monster. But he's not just like a lump. He's a very all-rounded, very good at duels, very good at progressive passing, kind of an all-round sort of midfielder. Be interesting to see if he's grown on me across the course of the season. When the links of Onana kind of first started, I was like, oh really? And then kind of the more I've watched of him, the more I've read up on him, I'm like, okay, this kind of makes sense. This kind of makes sense. Guys, can you stop talking about that article from the Sun? I haven't had a chance to properly research and read into it, so I'm not just going to react to a headline which looks a bit weird, if I'm being totally honest. And why on earth would, if all you got to do is think about it, right? If something like this was completely true, right? If something like this was completely true, now my instinct is to tell you that it's not, because it's from the Sun. But if something like this is completely true, how on earth would they have an exclusive on it if it's just about rules that are written in? You'd think that the Telegraph, the Athletic, the Times, the BBC, Sky Sports, you think all of those would probably have spotted that same problem in the rules? You'd think so. But we'll see. I'm going to read through that myself. Speaking of January transfer windows, right? Actually, no, I'm going to go down there and see what you're saying about Onana. There's one thing we haven't had for a long time. It's physical dominance. Well, dude, we had that under Mourinho. That was only a few years ago. He basically signed the Space Jam evil team. That team was huge. Was it Matic, Pogba, Lukaku? Who else do we have? That team was massive. Samuel was saying, what about João Neves? I kind of think the João Neves one's a bit unlikely. You kind of put João Neves in this, not in the same category exactly style-wise as João Felix, but just that player who looks incredibly talented and is incredibly talented, but you kind of have to drop him into the right team at the right time. And I don't particularly think that Manchester United signing someone who's that small of stature is going to be what changes the midfield and the team that we have. All right. I think we need power. Not just power, but that I'm talking about. That's the way that football, that's the trend that football has been going on for a couple of years. City have been leading with it. Other teams are following, and United haven't. Right? Fellaini, yeah, geez, Ibrahimovic. My God, that team was massive. Jeez. Anyway, I honestly, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, I honestly completely forgot that Donny van der Beek existed. Is he still at the club? Man, I feel sorry for the dude. I'm sure he's an absolute gentleman. I'm sure he's a really nice guy. And he's just been sort of like lurking in the shadows at the background. And it's Ten Hag who's our manager. And we've been pretty bad. So you'd think he was going to get a chance. If he's going to get a chance. No, he won't get a chance. Just let him leave in January. right? Just sell him for cheap. No point loaning him. Just I don't know. Just I don't know. just go for your own sake, for everyone's sake, for everybody's sake. Just let Donny van de Beek go. For my word, I can't believe he's still at Manchester United. Is he training? I think he is training. I think I just pulled up a photo of him training, didn't I? Let's have a look. Oh, there he is. Here we see a rare Dutch Donny van de Beek. Not in his natural environment. His natural environment is injured on the table somewhere. All jokes aside, I would like him to leave for his own sake, because how is he still a United player? Donny van de Beek, Anthony Martial, Jadon Sancho. There are so many players in this squad, honestly, that if they left, you wouldn't even notice. You wouldn't even notice. It just wouldn't affect the quality of our starting 11. Arguably, wouldn't really affect the quality of our bench either. There's quite a lot of these players at Manchester United. My God, this squad has so many holes in. It's like a sieve. Something happened yesterday, and you want some physical power in there. I want some physical power in there, and yeah, this dude certainly ticks quite a few boxes. There are actually quite a few players. You know how when United were going after a striker in the summer, you looked at Harry Kane, and we obviously all wanted Harry Kane, but we couldn't get him. And then when you look past Harry Kane, you were like, damn, there's really not that many other available strikers, which is why Hojlund cost us so much. If you're looking at the profile of Onana and you're thinking about ball-carrying central midfielders that United could sign, well, I spoke about Thuram yesterday. I could speak about Onana now. You could speak about Andre from Fluminense. There's quite a few. There are quite a few central midfielders in world football who I think genuinely could all come into Manchester United and really kind of improve our team. So it's going to be a harder thing for us to get right, because I think there's going to be a lot of options, but in a good sense. We shouldn't be starved of options if Onana was to go somewhere else, or if Andre was indeed to leave Fluminense and go to Liverpool. I think there are plenty of those players available in the market, but I really like the look of Onana. Something happened yesterday. I'm sure you saw it. I think somebody wanted me to mention this at the start of the show. There was a guy on ANMP, Isaac Odongo, who, what was it? Remember that video that went viral? Must have been like, I don't know, quite a few months ago now. Basically slagging off Harry Maguire, saying, look, I know our economy's bad, but you're not seeing how bad Harry Maguire is. And then he apologized to him in like Ghanaian Parliament yesterday, or whatever it's called. And then Harry Maguire replied, apology accepted. See you at Old Trafford soon. And part of me is like, oh, okay, that's quite funny. And part of me is like, what's he replying to that for? That's such a weird. That's kind of a weird thing to do. It is a little bit weird, isn't it? But it's also quite funny. So man, give it a couple of months. You're probably going to see that. You're probably going to see. Probably going to see that guy on ANMP, Isaac, at Old Trafford with Harry Maguire, little like arms around each other. And I know that. Look, I've been praising Maguire, and I keep saying to you, playing Maguire in a team against a team that doesn't press us, he's a very, very good centre-back, man. Very good centre-back. I want to see Maguire play. Actually, I don't want to see Maguire play at Anfield away, if I'm honest. But if he was to play there, I want to see him coping with that Liverpool press and showing the same sort of control and composure and passing range against an attack that hounds you like dogs. That's where I always will have my concerns about Harry Maguire. And as it stands, I don't think those fears have been sort of allayed. Look, last couple of minutes of the show, you fire in your comments. Actually, I'll go back to the poll. Let me see what the poll is saying. If you can, ladies and gents, just drop a like on the video. Makes a big difference. We've got Everyone's coming out the woodwork now. Everyone's like, I've had 2 weeks off. Oh yeah, right. Right, United playing at the weekend. Let's sort of let's brush off the international break and let's see where we're getting to. But we've had just over 600 votes, and 48% of you think that Martial is going to start up front if Hojlund's not fit, with 30% of you saying Rashford and 22% of you saying McTominay. I think 47% of you are right. I think Martial will start up front. And as I said, and I'll double down on this, Martial's a waste of space. Shouldn't be playing for United ever again. Needs to be out of our team. I could be better up front than Martial. Is there anything else I can say that can make me sound like an idiot so he'll score? Yeah, just all of that. Everything, like 2 or 3 times. Come on, Martial. Make me look like an idiot, please. Ross, you're saying, Sam, based on the form this season, do you think Maguire is a good candidate for captain? Not sure I can deal with that sort of level of sarcasm this early in the morning. Monster Munch or Space Raiders? Now, that's probably the best question anyone's ever asked here. I am a crisp hooer. Man, it's like I've got a separate stomach specifically for crisps that just never gets filled. It's like an infinite pool of space. No matter how many crisps I eat, there's always room for more. Beef Space Raiders, pickled onion Monster Munch. 2 of the OGs of the crisp gang. If there was a crisp gang. Like if they made Sausage Party, but it was actually crisps instead. Did you ever get information, Sam, on the finances of the Tampa Bay NFL team, and do United ever reach out to you? No, United have never. I think once upon a time, I think I was in contact with United. I'm in terms of the evolution of United People's TV. You know full well that I'm quite studio based. It's the ultimate irony of what I do here with United People's TV is me talking about United and the way that things have been built is that I can't actually go to as many games. For me, the games that I love going to with my mates still were the away games. Had a ticket for Fulham, got COVID just before it. I can't go up to the Newcastle game, but the Liverpool game I can't wait for. And fingers crossed we go through in the Champions League so I can go to a little bit of a Champions League away day in February. Pablo, how you doing, man? Hello from New York City. How you doing, dude? What's time there? 3:56? Damn. Able to catch the show live. Love the content. It's my morning therapy every day. Thank you very much, dude. I love the community. I really, really do. But Scott played up front for a few days. Don't be surprised if you see McTominay playing some sort of attacking position. And also don't be surprised if he scores either. All right. Don't be surprised if he scores. All I want to do now is go and eat crisps. I don't want to do my lunchtime video. I just want to go and eat crisps. It's all your fault. All right. And hot Cheetos from America. I don't know why they're sprinkled in, like some MSG all over them. Or just like bright red, like you can hold it in the dark and it'll be a light. Damn. They taste good. Last couple of questions. What are you saying down here? Potato, cheese, and onion. Andy, now you're speaking to me. When I used to go out, when I used to go dairy all the time when I was a kid, potato, cheese, and onion were the only I was a right fussy little eater when I was a kid. Potato, cheese, and onion were the only non-ready salted crisps I would eat at that age. It's 6 o'clock in New York. What is it? It's 11 now. 5 hours? Oh yeah, sorry. I was getting my timings all wrong. But look, big up to all of you. Thank you for tuning in. The big positive news for the day is not only is Luke Shaw back, he's looking fit. He's looking like he's really kept himself in shape in all the time that he's been off. It goes to show that Luke Shaw's really, really bought into what Ten Hag is doing at United. You can see from his recovery from injury there is why Ten Hag is trusting him so much. We've got Martinez back on the grass. Individual training program. Still at least 5-6 weeks ago. But it's really good to see him there smiling. Onana's going to be fit. Good news. Don't think that Hojlund... Oh, wrong thing. Stupid sun crap. I'll go and read that after. Today's lunchtime video, right, is going to be around Casemiro. And in my opinion, I'm going to call it the harsh truths about Casemiro that have to be said. And there might be people that slate me for it. but I'm just going to be speaking in nothing but the truth about how incredible a short-term signing Casemiro was and how horrendous a long-term signing he was in terms of planning. That's going to be my video at lunch. I'll be here later on. Reach out if you need me. Slide into my DMs and drop a like on the video. Take it easy, everyone.